Yo, you can't say the Pope's telling me we can have world peace in the same sentence the Pope is using children as hostages. Get JD Vance in here. He's already killed one Pope. Let's kill another one. Jesus. Oh! She got cut down. He said he was gonna do it. Oh. So today we're breaking down the last episode of Old Country Bumpkin. Thankfully, season 2 next year, so it's not all bad. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, share, support. Consider subscribing, stay up to date on all this anime greatness, and yes, Patreon, full live reactions and exclusives over there. So, we've all been anticipating it. We're like, oh my god, Barl, is he gonna cut down his student? Is he gonna let her go? Like, what's gonna happen with Barl? He's never really been put into this situation, and he's, obviously pulled his punches a lot throughout the show. But once seeing a cultist group trying to strike down royalty, I mean, the gloves had to come off, hence why he was killing fools left and right. But I knew he was going to strike down Rose. I think if anyone truly walked into this episode not expecting her to at least have a deadly wound of some sort, you were deluding yourself. The question was going to be if she was too far gone to recover, if she had an out, so in this case the whole orphan thing kind of gave her the out, or if, he didn't want to do it, and, either someone got there in time to heal her, or she passes away, but she's okay. So, I think most of us should have assumed she was getting cut down. Barl wasn't going to lose that fight. But it was a matter of how they're going to explain her either living, or if they're going to go tearjerker goodbye death flag. And I think they handled it great. So we learned that, essentially, from her point of view, we learn a lot about the whole hierarchy of this world in terms of kings and queens and the religion with the Pope and everything. So we know the Pope is a man who means business. He holds a lot of power and influence in this world. And while I question Rose's opinion of, well, if the Pope says it, okay, yeah, sure, I get it. You're saying the Pope needs to do this stuff. But if the Pope's holding children hostage, is it really just covering your ass? Or maybe should we consider if he's the devil incarnate himself? Just saying. But the idea that for her, even if she had skepticism, no matter what, she has to protect the orphans. And they've already established that she cares for kids. There was at least 2 scenes. The first was where she observed who looked to be an orphan, just diddle-dallying by the river, and then obviously she helped the kid locate the mother who was lost in the market, right? So it was already an established character trait that Rose is someone who deeply cared for children. So the idea that, children being held hostage against their will as collateral damage if people didn't perform the way they need to, yeah, I mean, I can understand why she was like, well, we gotta kill a prince. And the idea that, it's very easy to see how in a world that deeply believes in religion, when one of your most powerful, if not the most powerful religious figures in their world, or at least their country, I don't know if they got multiple popes or if it's a singular pope, who the hell knows. Either way, if they're saying they gotta die, that's essentially the voice of God saying they gotta die. So I get why, she goes down that path. Unfortunately, she did choose the wrong path. But they kind of surprised me. So when Buddy comes in and is like, hey, this is my sister, I'm like, oh! Granted, stepsister, but it doesn't change the fact that I didn't see that one coming. I was like, shit, I don't even think there's any hints of that before. But it was great, though, because I love how they all have the secret. Like, it's like, if the secret gets exposed, we're all gonna get hung. Because, what she did, even though she, in my opinion, had a out, you still work to conspire to kill the future king. Like, that's a death penalty no matter what. I mean, the best she might have been able to hope for, if it was exposed she was involved in this, would be life in prison, but I doubt that's a thing in this world. So the idea that they're all like, we're gonna cover this shit up. Like, if it gets out, we're all shit out of luck, but I understand why, right? Like, at the end of the day, no one's gonna come out of this episode and say, like, there will be, of course, but a reasonable person's gonna come out of this episode and not be like, Rose was an evil scumbag. Misguided, but I mean, hell, religion's a powerful drug, plus children, innocent children. I mean, if you ask me who would I prefer saving, a group of orphan kids or a prince, I don't think I'm gonna pick the prince. I gotta be honest. I don't even like kids, but yeah, like the orphan kids are definitely more innocent, I mean, like, needs of the many, needs of the few, right? But at the end of the day, they did what they needed to, and they set up the second season very well. I mean, there's obviously still a lot to do with the Pope. We've already established that prior to this arc in terms of the whole necromancy plotline bullshit that he was doing. But the idea that, you know, we had the king basically personally request Barl to be the princess's bodyguard. And I was like, hot damn, we moving up in the world. Before Lucia's like, no, no, no. we need him to train the troops. Without him personally training everyone, we're kind of shit out of luck. Ah, yes, keeping a Master Swordsman, you know, in training the up-and-coming makes so much sense. Sorry, Barl, you know, it's all good. And the thing is throughout this show, he's always said, I ain't some Master Swordsman, I'm not the best of the best. And I actually think he has a way out in terms of believing that he is far from the best. Mainly because he admits in this episode, he's never defeated his dad. Which I could be mistaken and just, I forgot this has been mentioned. But I didn't realize that. So the fact that his dad is seemingly stronger than him at swordplay, it actually is entirely possible it could take him another 30 years before he reaches his dad's level. Then again, being thrown in a lot more situations of adventuring and life or death moments could get him there faster. But while I do believe Barl's probably the strongest swordsman in the kingdom as it stands there, the fact that we know his dad is still higher than him is a very nice thing. And I think given that the show is called Old Country Bumpkin, I like that they play off the fact that he is just some old man from the sticks, man. Like, he goes to a royal dinner and he's like, what the f... He's like, is this wine? He's like, why are they serving me raw-ass food? This shit's weird as hell, man. I love the fact, too, that they continue to use Mue in the later parts of this season in such an effective way. She's not a plot device. She's not someone who has to constantly be like, Dad, I had this problem at school. We end, or at least have one dinner moment, like, every episode the past, like, month or so. And the fact that he's like, your cooking here is so much better than the royal families. One, I believe it, because that shit did look raw as hell, and a good stew goes a long way. But two, family's everything, right? And it's just, they did what they needed to. If I had one complaint about this episode, is that while I do think the 3D was still well animated, the art style of the 3D was a lot more noticeable, because for the most part in this show, it's seamlessly blended in a way that made it look 2D. It was a lot more noticeable in this episode. Not saying it ruins it, but, you know, it was definitely rougher around the edges than prior episodes, but still great animation, the little moments of swordplay, the fact that, you know, they're doing rapid, like, thrust attacks rather than just rapidly, like, there was precision about everything. And while there was a couple of moments that kind of felt like Dynasty Warriors, they're doing some Beyblade spins, so I was like, you know what? I think we earned a little extravagant animation and, you know, fight styles, given how realistic everything looked. I thought this was great. I think it had the popularity I think it deserved. It was a very popular show. But I do think a lot of people who watched it undervalued just how good it was. And it was really nice, you know, being linked videos and seeing different people deep dive the swordplay style, or swordplay side of this show, and actually breaking down how realistic it is. Because for me it looked realistic, but actually hearing people who study this stuff, it was really cool to see all that. And yeah, I mean, I loved it. I think the Barl and Mue stuff was just so good, and I am so excited for the second season next year. Your thoughts down below. What did you think? Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe, ring that bell, and yes, Patreon, full live reactions and other exclusives like, hey, I give a video shout out to all of my patrons. So today we got Tobias Reinhold, Flaved Orcs 414, 12X, Drift, Link Hughes 15, Gutter Snipe, Simul Crumb, Troy, Rikamatsu, Jeffo369, and we also have Game Senpai. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. You'll have a good one.